Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Maharaj.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Swamiji.
Yes, good morning and Happy New Year.
Yeah, to you as well.
Yes. Good morning, Betty.
Good morning, Swamiji.
Yes. So why are you wearing a mask?
Because my friend is still here helping me.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. Yes.
But I'm going to take my photo off soon.
There you go. Your microphone's on, so they can still hear you.
Okay.
But that's fine.
Oh.
All right. So let's start with the beginning chant. Okay. So we shall chant together. You may repeat after me. Om Sahana Vavatu. Om Sahana Vavatu. Sahanau Bhunaktu. Sahanau Bhunaktu. Sahaviryam Karovavahai. Sahaviryam Karovavahai. Tejasvina Badhitam Astu. Tejasvina Badhitam Astu. Ma Vidvishavahai. Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the Supreme Spirit protect us. May the Supreme Spirit nourish us. May we work together with great energy. May our study be vigorous and fruitful. May love and harmony dwell amongst us. Om. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. So good morning again to all of you. Here we are after 2 weeks of winter recess. This is the first Sunday talk after winter recess, and we were trying to see what wisdom Sri Krishna has to share with us about the yoga of meditation. We have seen so far, Sri Krishna has spoken about the general discipline for meditation, some specific disciplines for meditation, the process of meditation itself. And now he is going to talk about the benefits of meditation. Now, all of us know that meditation has several benefits. We read at articles and books the benefits of meditation. Meditation reduces stress. It helps us to remain calm. It increases our focus and also enhances our mental agility. Even 2 weeks ago, a Yale University professor who runs a happiness course in Yale University, which is a very popular course, he wrote in one article that 5 practices that has helped people to remain positive. One of the 5 practices that have helped people to remain positive during the pandemic, one of them is meditation. Is so much so, last 2 weeks ago, Netflix also released a documentary on meditation called Headspace Meditation, a 6-series documentary, Headspace Meditation. So all of us know the benefits of meditation, but what kind of benefit Sri Krishna is speaking about in Bhagavad Gita? Is he speaking about meditation as a means to relieve stress, to remain focused, to remain calm, or something else? Let us find out. So last time we saw that Sri Krishna spoke about meditation as it is 3 successive stages of concentration: focus, contemplation, and absorption. And he gave an example of what a ideal meditation is like. He said that it is like a candle in a windless pot. A candle in a windless pot, as the flame does not flicker. So in real meditation, in highest meditation, mind is so much absorbed in the object of meditation that mind also remains still. And if it is so, if mind can remain so much absorbed in the truth that it is meditating upon, the result, Sri Krishna says, is unsurpassable bliss, attantikam sukham. So let us find out in the light of 5 verses of the 6th chapter, verse number 21, 22, 23, 27, and 28, what bliss meditation promises, what type of bliss meditation promises. And we shall find out that the way we understand meditation as harbinger of bliss, that needs some correction. Sri Krishna is not only speaking about meditation as an experience, but meditation as a transformative experience, an experience which brings transformative wisdom. Let us find out. Let us start with verse number 21. Sukham atantikam yattat buddhigraham atindriyam beti yatra na chaivayam sthitash chalati tattatah. So he says, Attantikam Sukham, infinite joy, highest joy comes after meditation, as a culmination of meditation. This is different from other types of pleasure or joy that we experience. Other type of joys or pleasures are limited. Attantikam means unlimited, infinite joy. Those sense pleasures, or other types of joy are limited in time, space, and also in quality. Time means we get joy from something, maybe now, but it will not be for future. That is why we say that we got great joy from that. It was in the past, not now. Similarly with space, something is giving me joy here, but it may not give joy there. In terms of quality too, there is always a scope for a more qualitative pleasure, qualitative joy. Suppose we uh, hear a very good, pleasant musical performance, but then we say that it was good, but it was not like that other performance of the same performer that we experienced earlier. That means there is always a chance of qualitative im- improvement in pleasure too. But this one, the joy that Sri Krishna is speaking about, is beyond time, space, and not limited by time, space, and quality. So, our idea about samadhi, the highest type of meditation, that it is an experience of infinite joy. But let us look at it closely. If it is an experience, then it has also got arrival and departure. It is not unlimited. It is also limited by time. So what kind of joy Sri Krishna is speaking about? The joy that comes from meditation when he says infinite, unsurpassable, is he meaning only about the experience of bliss during a very good state of meditation? We shall see later on that he will shed more light into it. So what he means is that this illumination from meditation, meditation should culminate into illumination, which brings a transformative wisdom, a knowledge of our fulfillment, knowledge that we are already fulfilled. Any kind of knowledge is not subject to time, space, and quality. For example, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. This knowledge is valid all the time. Similarly, this meditation also brings a transformative wisdom which is present all the time. And that wisdom is that we are fulfilled. We don't require external happiness to be fulfilled. This is a kind of intrinsic joy. So meditation brings bliss, no doubt about that. The experience is blissful, but it also brings transformative wisdom, the wisdom that remains with us irrespective of where we are, when we are. And so he says it is atindriyam, beyond sense pleasures, beyond the sense pleasures. This buddhi graham can be grasped by intellect only. It also means that it is born out of wisdom. And having established in that fulfillment, in that wisdom, asmin sthitaha na tattatah chalati. One does not deviate. That is, one never forgets one's true nature as fulfilled being. In all the transactions, one is able to remember that wisdom that we are already fulfilled. It is kind of like riding bike. When we are trying to learn biking, then we have to be so much careful in the beginning, like uh, keep our spine straight, our head straight, as Sri Krishna spoke that Shamakraya Shirogrivam, how we should meditate by sitting in an upright position. Similarly, when we are learning how to uh, ride a bike, we are taking so much of caution. Then we ride it only in the neighborhood in the beginning. Then slowly we go to a main street. And later on, we become so much master in it that we can ride the bike even in busiest of the streets. And while riding, we may even talk to others because we have found that center of gravity. We have learned how to maintain the center of gravity in all the circumstances. Similarly, the meditation, when it brings that transformative wisdom, then we are able to maintain, access that center of gravity all the time, all the time. Then life becomes like a drama. All that is happening around us appears to be a drama, and we are taking part in it as different roles. And as in a theater, we see, suppose a person is playing the role of a beggar, and suppose he is so much absorbed into the role that he has forgotten his own true identity. Then what one has to do? One has to do only to go back to the green room. And when he goes back to the green room, then he comes to his senses. This is my true nature. So meditation or nididhyasana is also like going to the green room when we try to remain in our true nature and forgetting everything about the world. Remind us or abide by in our true nature, like going back to our green room. In fact, Patanjali says that that is, in fact, the goal of meditation, remaining in one's true nature. Tada drashtuhu sarupe avasthanam. That is, at the state of yoga. What is yoga? Chitta vitti nirodha, cessation of all the mental modifications. And at that time, the meditator remains or abides by in their true nature. That is, remaining in one's center of gravity. And so, this is something very important that we should remember. Samadhi, the bliss from samadhi that we think is not something in experiential. That is, yes, the bliss is supreme. No other bliss that comes from meditation is comparable to the joy of meditation. But what is more important is this meditation should transform our personality. The meditation should bring transformative wisdom in our life. That is why we find that in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, we see that seeing Sri Ramakrishna going, in and out of samadhi all the time, and corresponding bliss that was evident. Many of the disciples also thought the samadhi is what we all need. But Swami Vivekananda cautioned them. So this we find in the biography of Sri Ramakrishna written by Swami Ishadhyanananda ji. Swami Vivekananda cautions them that mystical experience is good, no doubt about that, but that is not the only thing. That is not the only yardstick for spiritual progress. The yardstick is how much we are transforming. He stressed that how much our life is changing for better. That is the test of spirituality. And Swami Ishadhyanananda therefore dedicates a chapter on this concept, this idea that mystical experiences or samadhi, these are not the only one criterion to judge our spiritual progress. What means is how much transformation is happening within us, how much transformative wisdom we are gaining from meditation. And Sri Krishna says that the, the culmination of meditation is having that illumination which transforms our personality. And if we have got that transformative wisdom, then we don't lose of that center of gravity, even in the midst of all the transactions that he elaborates further in the next verse, which is very popular one, oft quoted one, verse number 22. Yam labdha cha param labham mannate nadhikam tatah yasmin sthito na dukkheno gurunapi vichalate. So what happens when one recognizes the purnattam, the fulfillment? Sri Krishna says, Yam labdha, having realized that fulfillment, which is our nature, they, what happens? They don't miss anything in life. Don't miss anything in life. Everything, every other enjoyment becomes a luxury. What does it mean? So, if we look at what luxury is, we shall find that luxury is things or circumstances which we enjoy when we have them, but we don't miss when we don't have them, right? Suppose we go for a holiday and live in a luxurious hotel. After coming back, we enjoy when being in that luxurious hotel, but after coming back, we don't miss that luxury. We know it was a luxury and we enjoyed it. We don't miss it. It is just opposite to need. Need is what we don't recognize when they are present, but miss them when they are absent. That is need, right? Suppose a car. For many people, car is a luxury. And when they get a car ride, that is a luxury for them, but they don't miss it because they know it is not affordable for them. But for many, car becomes a need. And when we have it, we really don't recognize. But if we don't have it, suppose we have given the car to the workshop or it is stolen, then only we understand its value. That is the difference between luxury and need. Sri Krishna says that if we have that transformative wisdom, that purnattam, that fulfillment, that every other joy becomes a luxury. Every enjoyment then becomes a luxury. We enjoy them, but even they are not present, we don't miss them. Because this joy, the joy of understanding, of recognizing our fulfillment, that we are fulfilled, we don't need any other thing to make us full. This is an intrinsic joy. So, for example, we may see that Holy Mother Sarada Devi's life. If we read her life, we find that she always had a kind of bliss. And this bliss is for knowing her true nature. But she can also be extremely happy even in smallest of the things. For example, we find that Sister Nivedita, when once she brought one, she stitched one meditation mat for Holy Mother. A quite insignificant thing, we may say, but Holy Mother was so happy and so joyous. She was showing everybody, calling everybody around, and look what a nice cushion Sister Nivedita has brought. So that is the point, that anna labham aparam labham mannate nadhikam tata. Having been established in that wisdom, in that fulfillment, other things become a luxury, but they don't miss it, because other gain, other accomplishments, other pleasures become insignificant in front of, in comparison with the joy, the intrinsic joy that we have by knowing our true nature, by understanding our fulfillment. Other accomplishments, other gains, other enjoyments become insignificant, or they are no more indispensable. We can do away with them. Yasmin sthitaha, and remaining in this center of gravity, guruna dukkhena api na vichallate. Even at the midst of worst tragedies, one is not shaken. So here goes a joke that guru means, here in this context, guru means even the heaviest of joy, heaviest of sorrows. Guru also means, the usual sense of guru, the master. So guruna api, guruna dukkhena. So one might have thought sorrows produced by one's own master, sorrows given by one's own master. So it is not like that. Guruna dukkhena means even at the midst of heaviest sorrows, in the midst of worst sorrows, one is not shaken. Why? Because they know that all the sorrows, all the sufferings are subject to arrival and departure. They have come and they will go also. Not only that, having realized their true nature, fulfillment in their Atma, the innermost being, they are firmly convinced that all the sufferings belong to body and mind alone. If we analyze all the sufferings, they belong to our body and mind alone. But the wisdom that meditation can produce in us, that bring in us, is such that we know that we are not only our body and mind. We transcend our body and mind. So on two counts, they are not shaken by even the worst tragedies, even the heaviest of sorrows. One, they understand that they are subject to arrival and departure. Secondly, they feel that these sorrows and sufferings belong to body and mind. But I am even more than that. So even at the midst of greatest of sufferings, they are not shaken. We see in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, towards the end of his life, he had cancer. And outwardly, it appeared he was suffering because there was bleeding from his throat. He could not eat. He could not even drink, having difficulty talking. Then one of his disciples said, "Sir, I see that even in the midst of all these sufferings, you are as blissful as you were." Then Sri Ramakrishna says, "The rascal has caught me." That is, he has found out the truth that although these are sufferings, but they belong to our body and mind. That is the lesson we get, that even if we get a little bit of that wisdom, if we can cultivate even little bit of that wisdom, we grow in our capacity to digest our experiences, all bad experiences too. Swami Ranganathanji used to tell us in his unique way that, you know what is strength? Take physical strength. The sign of physical strength, physical health, is capacity to digest food. And those who have great health, they can digest any kind of food. For example, very young people, kids, they are always hungry. They can digest anything. And then he says, the capacity to digest food is the sign of physical health. Then intellectual health. What is that? Capacity to digest any intellectual material. You read something, you digest it, you assimilate it. That is your capacity. That is your sign of your intellectual strength. And what is spiritual strength? What is the sign of spiritual strength? He says capacity to digest all types of experiences, all types of experiences, experiences which are unfavorable to us, which are not pleasant to us. The capacity to even digest them is our spiritual strength. And Bhagavad Gita says that strength comes from recognizing the reality that we are, which is beyond our body and mind. At the time of suffering, we have seen most of the things that other times comfort us, support us, fail to do so. Only spiritual strength counts, spiritual support, even a little bit of awareness about our higher reality, about our higher nature, helps us in great deal to digest that suffering. That is what Sri Krishna is speaking about. Having been established in that wisdom, in that purnatam, in that fulfillment, we are not shaken even in the midst of all the sufferings. Swami Gahananandji, who was one of our presidents, and he was known for his cool nature. He was extremely cool, a Swami, and that's why he was always in places which were troublesome. And he was in charge of a big hospital in Calcutta, a 750 bed hospital. And once there was agitation by the employees, by the union, which was kind of unfair. And a lot of problems were going on. And other Swamis were very much part of, but Swami Gahananandaji was extremely cool. And they asked Swami Gahananandaji, what is the secret? Why you can keep so much cool even at the midst of all the disturbances? He said two things. One is this verse of Bhagavad Gita. He said, this is the verse most favorite of mine. Even at the midst of greatest suffering, one does not get shaken. I try to practice that. And secondly, he said, with practice, what has become of me is that tougher the situation, cooler I become. More disturbed the situation, the more cool I become. So he used to say, this is the verse to practice how to remain cool even in the midst of all the sufferings, all the unfavorable circumstances. Then in the next verse, Sri Krishna says something very remarkable. Very remarkable. It is verse number 23. He says that all this fulfillment, all this bliss that we are speaking about is not bringing something new. It is not gaining something new. It is already within us. What we have to do is to only remove the obstacles that are blocking from accessing this truth, this reality, this fulfillment. Verse number 23. Tam viddat dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga samgitam sa nischayena yoktabhyo yogo nirvanna chetasa. So one get a misconception about this attantikam sukham, the unsurfaceable joy, infinite joy. One can get a misconception that it is something that we are bringing. It is something that we have to gain. Sri Krishna says that this knowledge, this wisdom or meditation is not going to bring the highest happiness. So what he says, it is not getting a new thing. It is just removing the obstacles. Let us try to understand this with the help of an example. It is health. So health means that is our nature, and disorder, disease means invasion of something which is not natural, which is only incidental. And what the doctors do us is only removing those invasive things, maybe microbes or bacteria, fungi, or any other disorder. Medicines and treatments are only to remove those unnatural things, unnatural conditions from our body. Then we are back to our health. So doctor did not give us health, did not bring us health. Health is our true nature. What they did was only removing the obstacles or invasions of foreign particles. Similarly, Sri Krishna says, Ananda, this joy, this bliss, this sukha is our real nature. Incidentally, the Sanskrit word for health is swastha, which means remaining or abiding in one's true nature, as we are supposed to remain. That is health. So, similarly, Sri Krishna says, Ananda is our true nature. And sorrow is only wrong identification with our body, mind, and things of the world. We think that is what we are. But Sri Krishna says, no, that is the wrong identification. If we identify ourselves with our higher nature, which is our true nature, then this Ananda, bliss, is not something that we are bringing in. That is always there. We only have to identify ourselves with that. And this is what he defines meditation as. Meditation is dukkho samyoga viyogam. So meditation is dissociation from association with sorrow. Meditation is just removing the obstacles, removing the sorrows that we have created by identifying ourselves with our lower nature. So the sorrow is like microbe and take jnana antibiotic. That is Sri Krishna's prescription. This jnana, wisdom, is only like an antibiotic which will remove the microbe of sorrow. That is why in Vedanta, our true nature is called Sat Chit Ananda, existence, awareness, and bliss. So, bliss, whenever we say, because we always associate bliss or joy as an experience, something that we are experiencing for a moment in a space. But Vedanta says this bliss is our true nature. It is not an experience, it is our true nature. That is, being established in our true nature, the bliss is just evident. That is, if we don't associate or identify with our true nature, then that is not bliss. Okay, so bliss is not only an experience. Bliss is our true nature. Remaining in our true nature, higher nature, is itself a blissful. Our true nature itself is a nature of bliss, and deviating from that is only unnatural, and that is the cause of all the sorrow. That is what Vedanta is saying. And that's why Sri Krishna says, gives an advice, sa nishchayena yoktabhya, that meditation which helps us to remove our wrong identification should be nishchayena, without doubt, should be practiced, because we want transformation. Only knowing it theoretically from the scriptures or even from the Gita won't help us, to know our true nature, to become aware of the bliss that is our true nature. I remember one of our devotees here some time back asked me a question which intrigued him for quite a long time. He asked me that he knew someone who was an ardent follower of Vedanta, who used to come to our Vedanta society long time ago and was a very active participant in every activity. But toward the end of her life, she forgot all about Vedanta, and kind of miserable life. So it was intriguing to him why it happened. If someone was so much into Vedanta, attending all the classes, lectures, not only that, taking part in all the activities very actively, why such things should happen? It was intriguing him. So he asked me the question. And I replied, it is very simple. Simple, she did not practice. She did not practice what Vedanta was preaching. So only intellectually understanding it won't do any good. It will do some good, but ultimately it won't help us in our transformation. That is why Sri Krishna says, Nishchayeno yoktabhyo, it should be practiced. How? As he has already told in 6th chapter, by doing the general discipline, then specific disciplines, and trying to practice meditation. Anirvinna chetasaha, that is very important word. He adds, that is, without being disheartened, without losing hope, without being depressed, one has to practice this meditation for a long time. Why? Because the result does not come in a day. It happens very slowly. So without losing heart, without getting frustrated, we should keep on practicing this meditation. And we know that meditation is not successful every day. Someday meditation is good, someday it is not. Even Sri Ramakrishna, who used to go to Samadhi off and on, he says in Gospel that he says, কোনো কোনো দিন উদ্দীপন হয়, কোনো কোনো দিন কিছুই হয় না. Some days meditation is so blissful, so illuminating, but some days nothing happens in meditation. So if a person like Sri Ramakrishna says so, what about us? So it is definite that meditation won't be so much fruitful as we think, or so much joyous every day, but we have to keep on practicing. At least if we practice daily, one thing is sure, we come to know ourselves better. We understand what is going on in our mind. Even if we are unable to concentrate or absorb in the object of our meditation, but we get an idea that what is really happening in our mind, what hidden motivations are working in our mind, what is disturbing us so much. All these ideas we get, all these insights we get if we meditate daily. That is why Sri Krishna says that this transformative wisdom, which is the promise of meditation, is not going to come in a day or in two. One has to keep on practicing without losing hope, without getting frustrated about it. Then he says $1,000,000 answer to $1,000,000 question. Is it easy to get established in this wisdom, or that unsurpassable bliss that Gita is promising us? Sri Krishna says, Sukhena. Yes, it is possible easily, but there is one condition. There is one condition. It is not unconditional, of course. If followed, then easy. What is the condition? It is not difficult to achieve such mental state, but there is a condition. What is the condition? He says, Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi bigata kalmashaha sukhena brahma samsparsham attantam sukhamashnute. He says, Atmanam yunjam, by regulating the mind. Here, Atma means mind. By regulating the mind, sada. Sada means always. That is, always regulating the mind. What does it mean? It means that, in fact, we have two types of problems. One is some minor problems which takes place in our day-to-day transactions, some misunderstanding or some other small minor things. And there are some major problems that is pervasive, that was causing trouble to us for a longer period of time. So sada means for minor problems which happen in our day-to-day transactions, try to be alert, which is spoke at the very beginning of this chapter. Remaining alert all through the day, throughout the day. Try to remain alert about, try to keep the balance of your mind during all the transaction of your day. Secondly, about major problems, which are, conditionals, or like a condition we are in, or a deadlock, or a situation, then about them you think deeply. About them you meditate deeply and try to find out, is it a situation which can be changed, or it is a choiceless situation? If it can be changed, then try to change it. If it is a choiceless situation, try to accept it. Work toward preparing your mind so that you can accept, because it cannot be changed. Just like, two kind of interventions we need. Sometimes minor things we are treated in outpatient department. Sometimes we needed to uh, admitted in the hospital for longer treatment or thorough analysis of the problem. Similarly, Sri Krishna says sada means in our minor problems, in our day-to-day transactional problems, try to be alert. Try to maintain your balance, which is spoke in the beginning of the chapter. And for deeper problems, deeper issues, think deeply about them. If they are changeable, try to change them. If they cannot be, try to accept them. And someone gave a nice example of accepting or adjusting with unchangeable situation. He said that suppose you are trying to take a picture of someone who is standing just in front of a, say, great monument. And now, for the sake of the focus, the person needs to go further from your camera. Then only he will be in your focus. Now, since that person cannot go back because there is the monument behind, he cannot go behind the monument to get picture with the monument. What you do, the photographer, he retreats, he goes back a few steps to put the person in focus. So some of the situations are like that. We have to adjust in that way. And if we can do that, what happens? Bigata kalmashaha. We can get rid of our habitual pattern of negative thinking. Bigata kalmashaha, our burdensome mind, which tries to think negative things in negative ways, which yoga calls viparita bhavana, wrong things, wrong way of seeing at things. This can be changed if we are alert in our day-to-day transactions, and if we also deeply think about problems which are giving us trouble for a longer time. If we can do that, sukhena, easily, with practice, we get attantam shukham. We get peace, infinite peace or infinite joy, which passeth all understanding. And that is Brahma Samsparshan. Brahma Samsparshan literally means touching the Brahma, but it is figurative only. Brahman touch, we really are already always in that, no question of touching Brahman. But what it means is, if we can do that, if we can maintain that balance of our mind, that peace in mind, then our true nature, which is Sat, which is Chit, which is Ananda, bliss, spontaneously comes out. And we have a very light mind, a very light and spontaneous mind. If we can have such a mind, which is also helped by meditation, daily meditation. So, what we have learned today, to summarize, the bliss, the infinite bliss, the unsurpassable bliss that Sri Krishna is speaking about is not only about the experience of meditation, the joy of meditation, but it also is a bliss that comes from transformative wisdom, a knowledge. And having got that knowledge, one does not forget one's true nature ever in their every situation, every transaction. They remember, they are able to have access to that higher awareness. Then life becomes a drama, every enjoyment becomes a luxury, but other accomplishments, other gains become insignificant in comparison to that joy that comes from knowing our true nature, that we are already fulfilled. And having been established in that, even greatest miseries cannot shake us, because we intuitively know that all the sufferings or miseries are subject to arrival and departure, and they belong to body and mind alone. We are beyond body and mind. And that is why, to get this wisdom, to have to be established in that wisdom, one should practice regularly, daily, without losing hope. And if we do that, mind becomes gradually more and more sattvic. Vigata kalmashaha means become more and more sattvic, more and more peaceful, more and more light, which is an unburdened mind, which is not a burdensome mind. When we get such a mind, attantam sukham, we are always in established, always in touch with a peace, supreme peace that passeth all understanding, and should be, if we practice it sada in our day-to-day transactions, and also special moments of reflections and contemplations, then we can easily get. Again, getting is a uh, misleading word. We can get back, we may say. We may get back or get established in bliss and peace, which is in fact our true nature. So that was all about joy and peace and bliss of meditation. But Sri Krishna would say there is even a higher goal of meditation, which is the grand goal of Vedanta, grand goal of Vedanta, to realize, to feel as a reality that we are all one, oneness with entire existence. In Sanskrit, this is called Sarva Atma Bhava, to feel oneness with the entire existence. That Sri Krishna would speak about, the highest goal of Vedanta. That is the subject of my next talk, how meditation will help us to get there. We shall see that in 2 weeks. Now let us chant the closing chant together, and I can take a few questions, or you are welcome to give your comment, suggestion, anything after we chant. You have to write in your chat box. Before that, let us end with the closing chant. Okay, please chant with me. Om Madhubata Pritayate. Om Madhubata Pritayate. Madhuksharanti Sindhavaha. madhuksharanti sindhavaha madhi santoshadhihi madhi santoshadhihi madhunaktam utoshasi madhunaktam utoshasi madhumat parthivagam rajaha madhumat parthivagam rajaha madhudvau astuna pita madhudvau astuna pita madhumano vanaspati madhumano vanaspati madhumagam astu suryaha madhumagam astu suryaha madhirgavo bhavantu naha madhirgavo bhavantu naha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sweet blow the winds, and the oceans give forth blessedness. May the herbs and plants bring us health and happiness. Sweet unto us be the nights and dawns. May every particle of Mother Earth be charged with blessing. May the heavens shower us with benediction. Sweet unto us be the noble forest trees. Sweet unto us be the shining sun. Sweet unto us be all living creation. Om, sweetness, harmony, peace.